Coming at you from New Jersey, place metal forgot to die. This is the hereliesmetal podcast. The podcast brings you the history, culture, and something of all things metal. Once again, I am Maledictvs, and I'm here with
Samanthar.
And we shall be your overlords for today and all of eternity. Welcome. We haven't said that in a while, but I wanted to say it. Since this isn't a regular review video, I decided to say that again. Okay. So what are we doing then if this isn't a review video?
What we're doing, well, I've always known that Maledictvs here, he has a bit of a musical past.
He's trying to hide it.
And I've heard tales of his young band by the name of HOLY ENEMA before. It's kind of amusing. It didn't really strike me as very much, but they actually released an EP called Behold Thy Anal Probe. And I think it was after we, took a look. This band's actually on the Metal Archives, and someone was very graciously put it up there, over about 12 years ago.
Whoever did that, thank you. I guess.
So we decided to clean up the page a little bit, and Maledictvs was then inspired to go looking for his stash of Behold Thy Anal Probe CDs.
I can't say I went looking for them. They were always with me. I always knew where they were.
Well, he finally deigned to show me one.
Yes. I took one out of the box and here, why don't you listen to this?
5 years together, and after he has trapped me within the bounds of matrimony, it's even okay, now I will show you the EP.
Most women, if they knew you had this, they wouldn't either A, marry or divorce you when they found you had this. You made this at the age of 18 or 19.
Today we are going to listen to the first and only release of New Jersey's own HOLY ENEMA.
That's what we were called.
And this will be my first time hearing this.
Now, you should have heard, when we used to go to a rehearsal studio, you should have heard, how the guy would, be like, what band is booking? HOLY ENEMA. They'd be like, what? That was always fun. But anyway. Okay, so we're going to...
and for context, this came out in 1996?
Yeah. I was age of 19, I think. So give me at least that before you're like, what the fuck is it? It's well, I was 19. What were you doing when you were 19? People were like, I was making a hit album. And I was like, okay, fine. But I wasn't. Okay. So, all right, we're going to listen to it. It's a short album. It's 15 minutes. It's like the Gulch album, but way not as good. So
maybe we'll cut the highlights for the video.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, here we go. So we're going to play it then. So
play it.
This is the first time you heard this.
Track 1. Public urination.
It's called Public Urination. Okay. And I was 19. Okay, so stop. Here it goes.
So we are starting out pretty sludgy and doomy. So the archives.
I was trying to hide.
You are vocals, correct?
That was me on vocals.
Oh, what was your name in this band?
I think it's on the album here.
I know what it was.
I can't read this type.
Your name was Incrustulus, Beholder of the Pro.
Yes. I can't read this type. I can't read that. Why did I make that so, 3 point?
Alright. You know what? I'm liking your vocal delivery here.
Yeah, I got a story about that. We'll talk about that later. Why and how I sounded like that and why I sounded like that. So what kind of music do you think this is off the first song?
You got a little bit of D-beat here.
Yeah, that's what I wanted back then. I specifically wanted that. Yes. I was very into that beat. I wanted our drummer to play that, and he was very good at that. So.
This sounds very New Jersey.
Yes. You could say that. We could agree on that.
We've got a raw production here. Real raw production.
Well, I'll talk about. I don't want to talk over the song, but we'll get into that also. So keep that on thought. Keep that on the burner. About the level of production, because I don't really think it was that low.
It wasn't?
No, I don't talk about that.
I can hear all the edges.
Yes. Now
it could be worse.
But yeah, I have a lot to say about the production actually, because I wouldn't consider it low. Actually,
this is a real dumb section here.
Yeah, it's kind of unnecessary. But the songs are short. The lyrics are all on the CD, by the way.
So we've got kind of like
if you want
it's
one.
kind of like a weak growl vocal.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good
way.
way.
It's a little weak.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's kind of forward thinking. You know. You're kind of like a hardcore. You're like an I Hate God band.
That's what we were into. I'm wearing this shirt. I'm wearing
the confluence of sludge and hardcore.
I'm wearing the same shirt I probably wore during the making of that album on my body right now. I had this shirt back then in 1995. So, what's this song called? It's the second track.
It's called Blues Man.
Blues Man with an O-O-Z.
BLOOZMAN. Blues Man.
Blues Man.
What was the inspiration for this?
Being an incel.
It's not about a blues man?
It's about being a blues man, but as like being an incel.
So you were a
like
virgin.
wearing a fedora.
We're listening to a virgin right now.
Probably, I think so. Yeah, like imagine like,
all right,
you know.
This is like black metal.
Well, I wasn't thinking that at the time. Been a good drummer.
I kind of like this.
Could be done better. This song was re-recorded.
Yes, it could be done
Maybe
better.
it wouldn't be terrible.
Honestly, it has like a it's like crusty.
Yeah, that was the idea. We're
It's
sort of a crusty grindcore kind of thing, sludgy kind of thing. Yeah. It's kind of a rap part. Didn't mean to do that though.
Yeah, I don't know about this part.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I don't think the people that made it like it either. They're kind of like. I also have a live version of this that was recorded at WFMU. Maybe for another time. It actually came out pretty good.
Got a groovy riff here.
Yeah, it was meant to be groovy.
You're a blues man.
We are into that kind of southern, sludge kind of thing. So yeah, things get a little bit groovy.
Next track, Jock Pit.
Jock Pit.
Jock Pit.
Jock Pit. There it is. I have a whole story behind this song. We had actually re-recorded this song on our second album, but we changed the words because we thought Jock Pit was silly.
Jock Pit? What's the Jock Pit?
Well, okay, so I was in high school once, and during senior year, they had the army band come in, like, to recruit, like, loser kids to join the army, right? But it wasn't like the army band with horns and shit. It was like a rock band. It was like and they played on our stage because they're like, hey, join the military, die. And they played like some alternative song. I don't know. It got a little heavy, and all the jocks jumped out of their seats and started a mosh pit. And I was like, and I'm like, what are these kids? And our vice principal was like Chief O'Brien. That's who he was. And he just jumped in there and just started no, and he just broke it up, and it stuck with me forever. And I was like, that was a jock
This song
thing.
is about jocks moshing to the army recruitment band.
Yes. And then Patrick O'Connor, our vice principal, jumped in there and got physical with these people. He broke it up.
So this is a real hardcore song.
Yeah. Mike Distress from Distress used to always tell me that. He used to that song is hardcore. He used to tell me that all the time.
This is hardcore.
And and he's a good source. So
Again, this isn't that bad.
well, I have some people that might disagree with you. However, I might have just other people that will agree with you.
I mean, I listen to a lot of new music.
Yes.
And a lot of it's at the same level of this, just being released independently.
By the way, that was
What
me.
was that?
That was me and Rich.
Can we
singing.
go back? Can we
Oh,
go back and hear that?
Yeah. That was okay. So here we go. So that was me and Rich singing. You can hear Rich right there very clearly. He wants nothing to do with this album, so don't ask him about this album. It never
Nothing
happened.
but the hardcore.
Yeah, we were just kind of being funny, like making
Yeah,
I
figured that was.
We were kind of making fun of Biohazard.
Making fun of hardcore.
Yes, at the time, which was very topical at the time.
All right, we're now listening to David Hasselhoff.
Okay, this was the hit single of this album. If such a people used to like that riff I did there. People say,
I do like
riff.
it.
Yeah.
It could have been recorded a little better.
Yeah, that's me and Rich trading off the lyrics, by the way, each line. We're also tuned down to A on this album, just in case that's important. We tuned the guitars down to A. It was kind of an arms race to see who could tune lower at the time. So yeah,
Are you all on the same tuning?
Yes. We're not that. Yes, of course we are. Jesus. It was difficult to get Rich to do that, but yeah. This song's about David Hasselhoff.
So, why David Hasselhoff?
He was just funny, David Hasselhoff. David Hasselhoff.
That's the joke.
Yeah, it's funny. He's David Hasselhoff. He wasn't even a drunk back then. Now we're doing the beatdown part because we were kind of making fun of hardcore. If you notice, the theme of this album is loose and funny. It's a fun album. It's nothing serious in this album. We're all making fun of. It's almost like Weird Al in a way. It was like Guar, or it was something funny. It was tongue in cheek. David. His name is David. There's a lot of growling.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's the hit single. People want to hear that one.
That was a hit single?
That's the one people wanted to hear. It's David Hasselhoff.
Everyone was asking for David Hasselhoff?
Yes, at the time. Yes.
All right, this song is called Psychic Enemies.
Psychic Enemies. Okay. There was a thing on television, on the infomercials, if you stay up and watch TV, and you had guys like Philip Michael Thomas and stuff like that, and they would have these psychic networks. Call this number. It was before the internet. So call this number, and we have your psychic reading. And they were called Psychic Friends, so I just called it Psychic Enemies. It's like, well, it's Psychic Enemies. It's a good theme for a song, I think. My lyrics were pretty good. I think my lyrics weren't bad.
I want to enjoy your vocal right here.
Okay. I can't sing like that anymore. I haven't got it. What are you waiting for? Just fucking call.
This is very silly.
This next lyric, we got them all from Estrada to Billy D, because both Eric Estrada and Billy D. Williams had psychic channels back then.
Okay. I gotta say, there's been no reference to the anal probe.
Yeah, no, in the album, no, not really. That was just the overall theme. There's no song called that yet. There's no title track.
I have not been shocked by this album.
No, we probably thought it was edgy back then, but there's nothing shocking. This part is actually lifted from a Chicago part, which will go into the next song. But from the song, the Chicago song, Stronger Every Day. You know that one.
Sure.
Yeah, you've heard it. You probably hear it. It kind of goes like this. But that was a little homage. Because we had this weird fascination with Chicago for some reason.
You love Chicago.
I still like Chicago. They're pretty good.
Chicago was a main influence on Holy Enema.
Yeah, kind of. It's true. We even draw Peter Cetera in the artwork, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, it was older Chicago. So early 70s, kind of mean Chicago, not like 80s Chicago, but yeah.
All right, the quality on this one's not that high.
Well, we'll go into that. We'll go into...
You don't have any comments right now?
Well, the songs are very quick, so we'll have time to discuss all that, because it might take me a bit. I don't want to... Because these songs are just going to swing by, really. These next two songs are going to go by pretty quickly. So...
We only have one more song.
We got two more songs, actually.
No, there's only one more song on here.
Well, maybe there's a secret song.
Is there a secret song?
It's not like secret. It's not hidden, but it's...
This song is called 25 or 624.
Which is a Chicago cover. Okay, so this is a cover. It's a Chicago... It's a popular Chicago song. You've probably heard this.
I'm not a big Chicago buff.
It's one of their most popular songs. We do a very shortened version of it, of course. The real one is really long. It's got a lot of horns in it and stuff. Should I try to do some more?
You're ruining the song. Oh my god.
Yeah, we throw a couple of those things in there. Thought that was funny.
It is funny. I liked it.
Maybe when we were 19 it was funny.
I liked it.
I have people that I know that want nothing to do with this album. They pretend it never happened. However, the guys that recorded it still talk about it. Like, I've encountered people that have been associated with them recently, and they're like,
I feel like if I encountered this in the wild, like, even the rough edges, I would think, like, these guys are funny, and they're not trying to be good.
Yes, we weren't trying not to not be good.
So it's like, it's hard to be like, well, this sucks.
Okay, it's fair. Maybe we should distribute this now
that was a little much. That was a little much right there.
We tended to be a little much sometimes. And the album's almost over. There's just one more little track.
Since this is basically hardcore, I think this would qualify as an LP. As a full release.
Same way Gulch has it. Yeah, same way Gulch did it. Yeah,
you know,
you could say that.
There's...
We didn't call it an EP back then. We never called it anything.
Oh.
I mean, being that it was kind of grindcore, yeah, you could call it.
Holy crap, boys.
Oh my god, there's another song on
That
here.
was Jim, our drummer. This was his idea.
Do a secret song?
Yeah, kind of. It's not secret. It's on the album. It's not gonna... It doesn't come on after like 15 minutes or something.
But it's not listed. What was it called?
Barbarians are coming. See, it's like Barbarians. They're fighting and stuff. That's all it is. We used to do this. We used to play this song sometimes, and it used to drive people crazy where they would want to attack us. It was just a lot of chaos. And that's the entirety of the Behold Diurnal.
That wasn't too bad.
Okay, so
So you're not proud of this?
well, you know,
I'm proud of that.
well, okay.
I think it's fine. Okay, my final verdict on it is that it's fine. It was fine.
Is it releasable today?
Especially for what were you like the oldest one of this band?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're like 19, 18.
Yeah.
Everyone else is younger.
They're like minorly younger.
A little bit younger.
Yeah, by months.
It's pretty good for considering.
I look back on it, I'm like, you know, there are other 18-year-olds that made albums back then were far better than this. Whether it got popular or not, you know, this is kind of, it's very juvenile. The sound is juvenile.
I thought it was going to be way worse, okay? The band name is Holy Enema.
Holy Enema.
The EP name
Behold
is
Thy Anal
Behold
Probe.
Thy Anal Probe.
Yes.
There was no probing.
No, there was nothing about that.
I thought it was going to be like really dense, like kind of death metal or something.
No, it's not really like X-rated or anything. There's nothing really. Yeah, there's nothing.
And
really like
as
that,
someone who will listen to anything new that comes out, no matter how small it is, and here's a lot of stuff on this level, I've heard way worse.
Okay, well, there could be worse, as they say.
Worse.
All the artwork on this. Sometimes we talk about the artwork. What actually? No, let's do a rating first. Why don't we do a quick impromptu rating first before we talk about the artwork?
First scale, true to nonconformist. I'm gonna give it like a 3 in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You're blending a few styles, not
Yes.
making your own style, but blending styles of sludge, doom, hardcore.
But yeah, the vocals, I was really inspired by Seth Putnam, I would say, for the vocals, I would say, but not as intense as him. But yeah, like I was kind of doing that, you know, there's definitely hardcore influence. And even though we're kind of making fun of that sort of beat you down hardcore, that New York hardcore sound, we're kind of making fun of it. And there's a lot of sludge in it. A lot of influence.
I think you
by
explain what
I
you
Hate
mean
God.
by beat you down or beat you up core.
Yeah, like Biohazard, stuff like that. Stuff that was going on in New York City at the time.
I think that's something only you say.
H2O and
Beat you
stuff
up
like
core.
that. Yeah, beat you up core. That's what I call it. You know.
All right.
Um,
So what's our next scale? Listenability? Maybe like a 3.
yeah, I'm not gonna give it Sonic. It's not Sonic Terror.
It's
anyway.
really not that terrifying.
No, it's
you're
not.
young children.
We thought it was, but it's not.
You don't listen like what were we listening to at the time?
We listen to a lot of Carnivore, like Guar. You know, I Hate God,
You know,
stuff like that.
Like, there's a minor grindcore, but like, I don't
see.
think it could tell you don't listen to death metal.
No.
Or...
No, I was not listening to death metal at that time. So a little bit, maybe a little bit of black metal, but no. And this stuff with my stuff, I wasn't really listening to Sonic Terror. No, not just Anal Cunt was like the worst, the most.
It's got a little offensive to the ears in that it's rough sometimes.
Yeah, it's only because of the sound I got, not because we're trying to sound like that.
But it's not Sonic Terror now.
Nah.
And it's got some catchy riffs
In the middle, a little bit. Yeah, I could riff.
And it's got some catchy vocal phrasing.
That's me. That's me on vocals. When they speaking of the vocals, when they had me do the vocals, they put me in a closet, a soundproof closet, and they weren't going to give me the condenser mic because they knew I was going to be like, I was going to be like a bleh. So they gave me a dyno mic, and they're like, hold this to your mouth and cup it like a death metal guy does, like friggin' corpse grinder does. And so the first time I recorded, I kind of didn't really know where my voice was. So I just immediately was just like, it originally sounded like that. And I'm like, that's a bit much. So I kind of scaled it back a little and made it a little bit more melodic.
The next scale is production quality.
That's just kind of debated because
I would give it a high DIY.
Yeah, it was DIY in the case where it was recorded in someone's house, but they had kind of like the latest, greatest. They were
I think if you're in a house.
Yeah, they weren't like, but a lot of people around here had houses. I mean, these guys were a well-known studio.
A small studio gives it a DIY quality.
These guys had a lot of the local bands under their name. They were a well-respected studio. They're called Big Blue Meanie in Hackensack, New Jersey. They were very well-respected at the time. Like, they were a cool place to be. And they were expensive.
I'm gonna give you a 2.5.
All right. Yeah.
On the low production side.
Yeah, I think
but
a lot
that's in the middle.
I think a lot of the bad sound comes from my my fault, not their fault. They could have probably done
your equipment had a DIY.
Yes. My guitar sounds like an overdriven acoustic guitar, seriously, which is just not good. And it's tuned down to, when I mentioned before, it's tuned down to A. We tuned down to A. I would just buy 15 gauge strings for my guitar. I think I played it on an old Ibanez Iceman. And we would tune as low as possible. It was just an arms race. It's like, who could tune lower? That's what we were doing back then. So it also kind of makes it sound really bad.
Okay, how many notes were there?
There's not a lot of notes.
Yeah, we'll give it like a 2.
Yeah, there's not a lot of notes.
There's, you play fast sometimes.
Yeah, but it's punk
rock.
But
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's nothing.
2.
There's no solos. There's no solos in there. There's not a solo.
Not many notes.
Yes, just not a lot of notes.
And obviously on the fun scale, it gets a 1 for fun.
It's 100% fun. 100% fun, like the
we rated it.
Yeah. That's it. So we'd like to talk about the artwork now. So the artwork, and I'll put the graphics up. If you look at the cover here, what does this look like to you? What is that inspired? Does it look like it's inspired by? Yes, I drew all that. By the way, I drew. This is
like your signature thing. You just like putting a bunch of people.
Now, who are those people though? They're all people I knew, or people that were associated in the album, like or songs are about maybe. So we could point them out here. So
I think I see Joey DeMaio.
He's probably in there. But what does that look like though? What does that cover look like though?
I don't know.
That doesn't look like a famous album cover.
I don't know.
It's like the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart.
Also, let's look at the back cover here.
Okay, so that's if this was popular and Joey DeMaio saw that, he would probably sue us, because I had photoshopped pieces of Manowar onto us, as Rich is wearing the loincloth of Joey DeMaio thing, and Jim has some Manowar parts, and I have like Russ the Boss's sword there. So Joey DeMaio would probably sue us, knowing what he does, knowing what I know about him now. He'd probably just sue us. Okay, so that picture, right? Well, if I go to the here, we'll open it up.
Let's open it. All right. Ooh, we got the lyrics.
Yeah, all the lyrics are there, and that backdrop there was inspired by the inside of a Carnivore album. There was a similar Carnivore photo, and I basically put all the people and I drew them, and us are on the stage there, and that was.
Can we go over the credits on here?
Yes.
Okay.
If you could read, I probably can't read that. So.
We have Mr. Golden Dick.
That's Rich. We used to call Rich back then.
You call him that? That's just not a name he made up himself.
I think he might have made that up himself. I didn't.
He's credited as Lower's vocal terror.
Bass
is Lowers.
And vocals.
We have Encrustulus.
That's me.
Beholder of the Pro.
That was my title. That was me, and that was my title.
You're on lows.
Yeah, my guitars were tuned down to A, so that was low.
So you can't. Okay, it's also a low, but it's just not lower. And Vocal Terror.
Vocal Terror.
And you have King Meat.
King Meat was Jim.
as the Skinsman.
Skinsman. He hits the drums. He's a good drummer. He
I
just
like
never
that.
show up to practice though.
Skinsman. I've never heard that.
Yeah, we kind of made Skinsman. We kind of just made that up. And we have all kinds of shit there. I don't like about
And
thanking people.
we have a
not thanking people.
We have a little thing here written, "Behold the warriors that ride."
Oh yeah, I did that.
Under the sacred name of Holy Enema.
I probably wrote that.
For they shall one day conquer your pitiful world.
It's very Guar-like.
And crucify all those who stand in the way of their glorious crusade. What was the crusade of Holy Enema?
I don't know. We wanted to drink beer or something. I don't know. Nobody had a real cause. You just kind of said you did.
Okay. And we've got a picture on the back
Yeah,
here.
if you could read any, I cannot read any of those credits. That is way too small. Yeah, that was.
You thanked Manowar.
Yeah, we liked Manowar.
It's like that you thanked psychic people, but it's spelled wrong.
Yes, probably just spelled it wrong.
Fabio.
Oh yeah, Fabio. I don't know why. Fabio. He was cool back then. There's probably some people we don't thank too. There's probably like.
Do you list your enemies on here?
I think so.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
The following list of people may have looks, money, chicks, a life,
That's something an incel would say.
or may even be upstanding members of the community, or they might be a bunch of drunken redneck hicks. It doesn't matter. They're all guilty of attempting to heed the progress of Holy Enema.
Can't do that.
The bottom line is we hate all of them. The first credit is the Pyramid.
The Pyramid was a club in New York City. I think it's still there. We had our first show over there, and it didn't go well. And the owner, the guy running
People
the
love
show,
the
was
Pyramid
yeah, no,
Club.
the Pyramid, yeah, but we had our show, and it didn't go well, and we were kind of late, and the owner was just being a real dick to us. But it's probably really our fault.
Those good old boys up at the Reactor.
They are a bunch of mouth breathers. Literally, I could just talk about them for hours, but they threw us out of there. We had gotten
What is
rehearsal.
the Reactor?
The Reactor was a
Another
studio in
club?
Butler, New
Oh,
Jersey.
studio.
It was, and we used to call it the Reactor because it had
I
a
think
big.
you've told me this story.
Yeah, it had a big heater in it, and it basically all these guys were like these mouth breathers, like ACDC, and they threw us out for a reason that we deserved.
the Wayne Police Department.
Yeah, we lived in Wayne and we're kids.
Were you actually bad kids?
Not really, but
No.
sometimes they'd fuck with us.
What's with the police?
We'd go to a park or
hate the
something,
police.
and the cops would be like, "What are you doing?" And we couldn't have that, So yeah,
The government.
the government,
All authority figures. The
Bitch.
IRS.
the
Jocks. You hate jocks.
I hate those jocks. See, that's why it's
Preps.
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 Like, does any of this matter?
Uh,
This is the rantings of a really immature 19-year-old.
Mrs. Deer?
We did a show at like some high school and she shut us down. She was like, no. She was like, she cut the mic.
The Catholic Church.
Yeah.
All right, we're going from Mrs. Deer to the Catholic Church. So
Yeah.
nothing's too small or too big.
Yeah,
for
everything.
this.
Everything. We hated everything.
The DMV.
The DMV. I mean, come on, that's reasonable.
Yeah. Thrashers.
Yeah, I didn't like Thrashers.
What's wrong with Thrashers?
I didn't like Thrashers back then. I didn't like Thrashers. I was like, these fucking. I had a wrong idea about Thrashers and who they were. I kind of put them in the same like boat as like mouth breathers, So I just couldn't, I just kind of put them
Well,
on the
you're
same
going
boat.
off 80s Thrashers. We didn't have any new Thrashers.
Back then, it was kind of like the decline of Thrashers were just dead at that
Well,
point.
Thrash was
In '95,
gone.
they were like dead. Like they were just in their grave. Like that was it. They were done by '95, and that's why you kind of look down and be like, "Oh, these fucking Thrashers."
The conforming, brainwashed, collective, ignorant, mindless public.
I sound like Alex Jones there, don't I? All the sheeple there, the globalists.
Not our fans.
Yes.
And most of all, you.
You, me. I bought the album. I didn't
Why
do
am
anything.
I on the hate list?
Yeah, it's like I just listened to it.
Me.
Yes. So as you can see, that's kind of juvenile to write a list like that and cringy.
If applicable, you know who you are.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So
all.
if you were bad, there you go. But yeah, that's what
Yes,
else?
it says Scrotum Sack, New Jersey.
Scrotum Sack, New Jersey. Big Blue Beanie, Scrotum Sack, New Jersey.
You've got a warning on here. Unauthorized usage of our ideas
Why
and
would-
music.
And I said, who would want to do that? Which is
Who
yeah.
would want to copy us result in crustification
I don't know what that means.
or anal impalement
Yeah,
of the guilty
that
parties.
just sounds terrible. Why would you want to do that to anyone? And so that is the thing that Sam was tweeting about that you'll want to hear about. So there it is, and I got egg on my face over that one. So,
I thought it was fine.
Right,
There's
fine.
nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Especially for 19, 18,
There
17
are better albums made by 18-year-olds. Well,
I would be proud of this if I was on this record in high school.
That's a good review, and that's why I keep these with me, all however many copies I have, and maybe you can have one.
We should put this up on Bandcamp.
Maybe I should. I think I'll see what that involves.
Or we should start giving these away as giveaways.
Man, you can have a Holy Enema album.
You know?
Wouldn't you like one of these sent to you?
So people do on Instagram. They're like, you know, share this with a friend and we'll enter you in a giveaway and you can get this.
If I put, like, you know, information on how to get this and I lose all 200 of my copies within a month, that will be some strange justice. Yeah. So folks, that's all you need to know about that. There's a second album, actually. It was the Megalon album. But basically we did a lot of these songs over again, re-recorded them and made them sound even worse. So yeah, maybe we'll do that one day, but that was never printed though. There's only one.
I've heard some of that, but what I remember it was heavily drenched in samples.
Yes.
There were no samples on this.
No.
I like that.
Yes, that's true. It was heavily drenched. I was like, wow, a sample. I could record things and put on. Yeah, and I kind of overdid that a little bit.
You definitely.
Yeah, everyone agrees with that. But yeah, that's, you know, that could be another time. You know, but there's also a live recording of us at WFMU, which most of it is disappeared. I used to literally email the guy at FMU. I forget his name. And he'd be like, "Oh, it's in our archive somewhere," but he'd never get it from me. So, but I have some of it, but the brunt of it is long lost forever somewhere. So, all right, folks, that's us ranting about this album. So yeah, this is a different episode. So we'll have more reviews for you soon.
This is our first and last reaction episode.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get to do this again with something else.
Honestly, I would be interested to do this for any kind of weird shit someone found.
Yeah, some weird thing that's old, doesn't matter when it is from. Yeah. So if you have something you want us to react to, you know,
and if
comment
you
down
have
below.
some weird story to tell about it,
yeah, or maybe you have an album, or maybe this was encountered in your life back then and it means something to you. Comment down below, or if you have something weird, you know, comment down below. You want us to?
We can end this with a weird pitch that if you have your own version of Holy Enema,
there's some people that do.
Whether you think it's great or you think it's terrible,
yeah,
and you've got some interesting stories to tell about it, you can come on the show and we'll listen to it with you. Maybe
I get some of the other members, Rich or Jim, if you want to, you know, Rich wants nothing to do with this. He has a different life now. He's a different person. He wants nothing to do with this.
He doesn't like this anymore.
He doesn't. He denies he made it. I mentioned, I'm like, Rich, you got to embrace. He's like, no. He's like, it never happened. But, you know. But yeah. So, okay, folks. So we'll be back with another review soon. We're working on some stuff. Okay. So we haven't disappeared. Okay. We just took a little bit of break. All right, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye.